Hey, I'm Scotty T from Your Comedy Minute. I have a comedy legend with me today. Marc Trinidad is here. Marc, thank you so much for being here.
No, thank you very much for having me on. I appreciate you calling me a legend, and that just means I've been doing it a long time.
Yeah,
It
you
doesn't mean
have
that
been,
I'm
but
great. I've just
no,
been doing it a long time.
no, but you are a legend, and I have a lot of stuff to back it up. But let's start because I know a lot of this. But for people that don't know you, Marc, you're in Toronto, Canada, but you're not from there,
No. I'm originally from the Caribbean, a
right?
little island in the Caribbean called Trinidad and Tobago, famous for its carnival and its steel pan and its beautiful women.
Okay. And
Yes,
you
sir.
now again, I know the answer, Marc, but you came to Toronto like 28 years ago, right, to start doing comedy.
Yes. Yeah. I actually left my island. And most people would think I'm crazy for leaving an island because that's what every North American wants to do, right? Sit back with some hot sun on a beach drinking pina coladas. But I always saw myself doing comedy. And on the island, the only options I had was theater and maybe some sketch comedy. But the art form of stand-up comedy wasn't on my island. So I had to leave. And I had to pick the US or I had to pick Canada. I picked Canada, thankfully, because of the healthcare. Healthcare is free. So that's a 29-year journey now.
I was
Yeah.
gonna say it must agree with you. 29 years later, you're still there.
Yeah. It's a good spot, man. You gotta come up and check it out.
I've been to Toronto.
Oh, there you go. So you know what
I've
it's
been
like.
to Toronto. I spent some
It's
time
like
in
a
Toronto.
it's like a clean New York, right?
That's exactly how I described
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
You are exactly
Very
right.
cosmopolitan, lots of
Yeah.
lovely people, lots of different languages.
When
Yeah,
I
it's
went to
wonderful.
Toronto, I swear to God, that's exactly. I said, "This is like a clean New York." I mean, it was amazing.
Yeah, it's an awesome spot, man.
Well, let's since I'm trying to pretend like I know what I'm doing here. Zahan Karsagara
Mhm.
is how I've got in touch with you, and I want to tell you if you didn't hear it. Zahan described you. He said, "This guy blows the doors off of every place he plays."
I have a rhythm with which I perform, yes, and I'm like a baby Einstein. I like crescendos. Yeah, well, listen. I have ADHD, right?
Right,
I'm chasing dopamine, right?
right,
And if they're having a good time, I'm having a good time. So it's a
right.
mutual relationship. It's as they say with the shark and the remora. It's a symbiotic relationship.
Yeah.
We both get our our fill of fun.
Hey, Marc, you can say orgasm.
Yeah, we both take that. I
now,
love them. They
now
love
you're
me. It
doing
works out. It works
now
out.
you're doing the knuckle shuffle on your piss pump for Christ's sakes. Holy hell, Marc. Yeah, if I didn't tell you, you can say anything you want to say. I don't give a shit. Okay.
There you go. No problem at all.
Don't let the truth get in
Fuck
the
it.
way of
We'll
a
go
good
for it.
story. But I wanted to also mention because I thought this was funny. Zahan said, I guess it was one of his first gigs or whatever, and he was so it enabled him to keep doing comedy because you told him. Do you remember what you told him?
No, I have ADHD. I forget everything as soon as it comes out of my mouth. What did he say? I said.
He said you went up and said, "Well, you're not the worst comedian I've ever seen."
Yeah, well,
And
listen, I
that,
believe that everybody appreciates honesty, right? So
yeah,
if I have nothing good to say, I try to say nothing at all,
right,
right? If I see that there is potential, I'll tell you where the potential is at. But I'm not coming out and giving you negativity out the
yeah,
gun, right? Let me get to know you first. But no,
yeah,
I try to encourage. You know what I mean?
right,
I believe and I understand what stand-up comedy has done for myself. I've
right.
seen what it's done for others. I welcome everybody into the space. But a lot of people are there simply to showcase how other people are better than them. No, Everybody gets in where they fit in. It's a lot. Stand-up comedy is a long journey. It's not a short journey. You're not just gonna jump into this and be excellent.
No.
You're gonna jump in and suck royally, and you're gonna suck for a long time until you get better. Right?
No,
It's the
boy,
truth. I ain't lying. I ain't sugarcoating the kids. I'm letting them know it's a hard slog inside of here, and it takes a while to actually get your legs in here.
well,
So
it's funny. You
before,
must.
as other comedians tell me, my brother, before 5 years, we don't even want to know your name because you might not last longer than 5 years, right?
Right. Well, you must read ahead of my notes because you said about like your favorite gig and your worst gig, or where starting out, was that like your worst gig, or do you have a like a worst or favorite gig, either one of those that you can tell me about?
My favorite gig is the next one.
Okay.
I'm looking forward to the next one,
Right.
right?
You call yourself a comedy slut.
I'm a whore.
A whore.
I'm a whore.
You've upgraded.
I'm an absolute whore.
You've upgraded.
I'm a whore. No, you see, okay. Listen, I love this thing so much, and I try not to tell promoters this, but I would do it for free. And that's basically what a slut is, right? We do it because we love the game that much, right?
Okay.
I don't care about the money. I take the money,
Yeah,
but I don't care about the money. The money is not the motivation, right? The money pays for the house, pays for the wife, pays for the kids, right? Pays for all the bills. But for me, getting on stage, I do it for free. I don't care. I love what we do, right? So in terms of my worst gig, I had to open for a friend of mine. He called me last minute to help him out, to open for him. He needed extra time. So I said, no problem. So I'm coming there. Just give me the address. But he didn't give me any background as to who we're performing for.
Right.
And at the time that I was running my set ended with a joke that usually killed. It's about beating your kids, right? Because we're Caribbean, we beat our kids, right? So I was building my show up to that crescendo. I got to that joke, and that joke was dying horribly. And I didn't understand why. So I cut and run. I brought him on stage. But after the show, he told me, Mark, I forgot to tell you who we were performing for. And I said, it was going so good. What happened? He's like, we're performing for teachers of abused children. And I wanted to die at that time, but in hindsight, funny as hell. To go on stage and to talk about beating your kids, and these are people that dedicate their time to help children that were abused. Listen, you couldn't script that better. That's just like, oh my God, what a horrible thing to do. But that was my worst gig. My best gig is always the next one, man. Always the next one.
Well, again,
I get better every time, and I love every time I'm on stage.
Like I said, I wrote down a lot of stuff because I want to be prepared, because you are a legend. I respect, everything you've done. But
Appreciate that.
I want to mention a little bit, because and like I said, you kind of like went right down my list. But you've opened for some really big stars. I have Chris Rock, Dave Chappelle. What was that like?
That was early in my career. These guys weren't the legends that they were already. I mean, you look at them now, everybody reveres, especially Dave, right? Dave. Chris Rock is more from my generation. Dave is mine too.
Mine too.
Yeah, and he's a king now. But Dave was up here filming Half Baked, and that's the time
I remember that with Jim Brewer.
Yeah, fantastic show. Probably the show that elevated him, from to right. So yeah, listen, if it's one thing that I appreciate about people such as, the great Kenny Robinson up here, who's also been doing this for a fantastic long time, and all of the people that I consider dear to me, there is not one that I can mention that I could even think about who isn't open to helping the young ones come up. It's probably why myself, after all these years, I do the exact same thing. There's a philosophy, a business philosophy, where they say first you must study, then you must practice, and then you must teach. Those guys were, even at their stage back then, were already into the assisting and the teaching. After 30, I mean, I've been an entertainer for 38 years now. This is my 38th year, right? I've gotten to the point now where I feel it's an obligation as of a person that has, walked the path to turn around and help the younger ones coming up on their path. That's why you hear Zahan talking affectionately about the things that I said to him. It's because I believe in helping the ones that are coming up, and those cats are doing the same thing. So I'm doing what they did at my stage of my career. I'm turning around and helping the others come up.
Well, I hate when I do this, but there's people as they tell stories and stuff. And as I was doing the research on this, and Zahan, I used to work in the music business. And I'm like you, I'm 62 years old, I'm older, and I like to give back, and I always tried to give back. But like you said, there's always a funny story. I worked for RCA Records, and people would give me their demo tapes. Or you listen to my band, here's my band, Scotty, and they give me a CD. And I'll never forget this. A young man gave me a CD from the bar I used to go to. And I was going to the bar and I thought, boy, I better listen to this. I didn't even listen to it. So I put it in and I listened to a few tracks. And I got to the bar and he came up. What do you think? What do you think? I said, well, musically, it's really good, but the singer's horrible. He was the singer.
I saw that coming.
And I was like, I always try to help people out. And I felt about this big as he slithered away from the table. But, and again, you're playing into my hands here. Your mantra is honesty and comedy.
Yes.
And
which is what I believe. I mean, I grew up watching Kenny Robinson in the field, right? I grew up watching Red Fox, Eddie
Red's
Murphy,
one of my heroes,
Richard Pryor.
Yep.
And maybe not so much Red, but Richard certainly was a guy that spoke his truth. In other words, he spoke of what was going on in his life, his opinions and stuff like that, what he's seen, what he heard. Yeah. And those cats are the ones that kind of influenced me into wanting to become the pure form of stand-up comedy. So I speak about my life, my opinions, the things that are going on that I see, that I have, thoughts upon, things that happened to me. I'm not trying to be, you'd see comedians that are the type of the court jester type of comedians who are doing an act. They're putting on a persona. I don't try to put on a persona. I try to put me in the rawest form on stage. That's why my mantra is honesty and comedy, because people will come up to me afterwards and hear a joke and repeat the joke to me that I told on stage. And I could tell them, here's the genesis of where that came about. Here's why I think that. Here's my philosophies on it. So everything that I talk about on stage is what happened to me. I talk now about tornadoes that hit my neighborhood, right? Because all of these things, my dislike for my mother-in-law, all these things are actual things that are going on in my life, right? To me, that's the purest form.
Yeah.
And that's what I try to get the young cats coming into the game to. Not that, they might want to do a type of a character. That's okay too, but I try to help them with the pure form.
Yeah, and you really do. And again, I just it's almost like I practiced and knew what I was doing on this one. But I watched your Instagram, not the last one, but the one before it with the girl farting.
Oh,
and Mark, I got to tell you what was so great about that, because I actually did a thing about a girl that would sell her farts on my Your Comedy Minute show when I was doing them. And I thought what was so fantastic and what I love about it is you showed part of the clip and then it flashes to you and you have your take on it. And it's just great.
Oh, I appreciate it. I've never been one to want to do a lot of sketches or things.
Right.
Online.
No, me neither.
Yeah, because I came from that and I don't want to go back to that. I want to be my true form. So what I do now is I've seen other guys doing this where they'll react to things that are going on social media. And I was like, all right, cool, I could do that.
Yeah,
I
you
might
do.
not be able to do the sketch things. I don't want to really set up and stuff like that.
Yeah, I
But
don't.
I'll cut a video up and put in my thoughts. And with the girl farting, listen, I'm not making fun of the girl. I'm celebrating her entrepreneurial
Exactly.
mindset.
Exactly.
I'm not there to degrade. I'm not there to cast aspersion. I don't look down on her. I said,
No,
you go, girl.
you even have a
Yes.
couple of business ideas for her.
Oh yeah, she should hit up Taco Bell, man. This is this is some
Oh, Mark.
mobility marketing. I can see it. It's wonderful.
No, and you know what, Mark? I'm so old. That I just refuse. I'm just not going to do it. I grew up on
Yeah,
Henny Youngman
yeah.
and Rodney. I met Rodney Dangerfield, and that's my kind of humor. And I'm not going to do skits. I'm not going to do that crap. But I just love the way you've done it, because your reactions, and you're very smart. And when I watched that, I was like, oh my God, you took that video clip and made it your own.
Oh, and I've never been called smart before, but I'll
No,
take it.
you're no, don't give me that. You're really
No,
smart
let me tell you what. Let me tell you what my philosophy in terms of that is. This is where I lay my hat, right? There is a wonderful saying that encompasses how I think about this. You never judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, right? We're all smart, but in different things, right? There's some people that are going to be the Elon Musk that could build and engineer stuff. And there's going to be people that know how to pour and make coffee latte art and stuff. And there's going to be people that can dunk, right? Everybody's smart in their own thing. And I don't judge a person because they don't have the book smarts or the street smarts, right? I judge you by who you are and how you operate as an individual. I never judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree. It's an incredible philosophy.
I laughed through that whole thing because I didn't get past that. I just did a joke last week.
Incredible philosophy, man.
The joke that you probably know, it's an old joke because I do all old jokes. The old joke about a guy takes his goldfish to the vet. Do you know that one?
No.
Takes his goldfish to the vet and he says, Doc, he says, my goldfish is epileptic. That looks nothing wrong with him. He said, well, wait till I get him out of the water.
Oh my God. Oh my God. My son would love that joke. I gotta tell him that one.
Yeah, I love one-liners. Hey, by the way, because I think your jersey, do you sell merchandise? Is that jersey? Because I saw something on Facebook. No?
No, I don't sell them. I saw a company who, I'm a big nerd, and I saw this company that was making a lot of nerd jerseys.
Okay.
Right? And the name of that company is Geeky Jerseys.
Okay.
So I was buying their jerseys, and then I emailed them, found out that the owner is a fan of mine, and now I wear all the jerseys. This one's a Kevin Smith one.
What does it say?
Movies. Yeah. You remember all the Kevin Smith movies? He would put the hamburger place in there. And it was the hamburger place was called Movies. This is the movie jersey. Hey. That's a company called Geeky Jerseys. They're at
I'm glad I brought it up. I'm glad I brought it up because I'm like you. At this point,
my guys.
At this point, Mark, I mean, that's why I started doing your comedy minute, because I got fired for telling jokes. And I'm 62 years old. I own my house. I'm at a point where I can give back. And I have someone like you who's been doing comedy for 28 years or more, versus I have people on that just started out. And I feel like, I'm trying to give a platform to people to come on and watch seasoned veterans like yourself versus a young kid who's just going through it. But there's now I'm finding the more I do this, you have your old skit, TikTok, Instagram folks versus the old school stand-up comedy folks.
Yeah. And I believe everybody gets in where they fit in. I don't begrudge them for using their platform. Listen.
No.
I believe everybody deserves to laugh. I don't care how you make it happen. The fact is that you made somebody laugh. They've got that serotonin, that dopamine flying through their system. Good job. That's all I care about. I don't care if you do it with a guitar. I don't care if you're singing parodies. I don't care if you're, diving on stage or falling or being the next Dave Chappelle. I don't care. As long as you make people laugh, it makes the world a better place. I'm good with that.
It's funny because I forgot about this. And when I got fired for telling jokes, I remember coming home and I thought, man, all I've ever wanted to do is bring joy to people's lives.
Yeah.
And that's all I've ever, because when I worked in the music business, I was bringing people joy by bringing them ZZ Top or Cheap Trick or Dave Matthews or whoever, Whitney Houston, bringing joy to people's lives. And you're right. I mean, I don't care because I laugh at some of that stuff. I prefer stand-up comedy, but I see some skits and I laugh.
Yeah.
Not a lot.
They make me laugh too, right?
Yeah.
Even in podcasts, there's these slivers of things that happen. That's the fart thing. In these podcasts, listen, there's fun. As long as you're having fun, man. This world is a place that's trying to kill you. And I don't care if you're a man, woman, child, dog, cat, rat. There's always things out there trying to kill you, man. So might as well have fun. As far as we know, we don't come back again. As far as we know, we don't have any proof to say.
Right.
A lot of people have beliefs, but we ain't had no proof that people come back, right? So if this is a ride you ride once, bro, throw your hands in the air and have a good time with it. Scream, bawl. You ain't coming back again. Have fun on the ride.
Well, and I got to tell you, I learned something today. You don't judge a goldfish by how well it can climb a tree. Do you have any other words of wisdom for me that I can take away from?
Any more words of wisdom?
Like that's
There's good parables out there. I love the Zen Buddhism stuff. There's some teachings in Christianity, in Islam. I listen to all, as long as I could find the wisdom. I'm reading everything. I'm an avid reader. So really? I love to read. I love to pay attention. There's a wonderful one. I think it was a Buddha story where Buddha was walking on the street with one of his disciples, and he spent time with a vagrant, and the student was like, Buddha, why did you spend time with a vagrant? There's nothing that you can do there. And Buddha was, I'm butchering this, by the way, I'm just trying to give you an idea of the parable.
You got the idea.
But Buddha was telling him that every man can be a teacher no matter where they are. An elderly man can be a teacher. A vagrant on the street can be a teacher. Everybody is a teacher, and you have to be the student. So I go out with that kind of mentality, is that what can this person teach me? I approach everyone as the student. I don't necessarily want to be revered as a
comedy
teacher,
legend,
but a comedy legend, because I'm still learning stuff too. And I believe that everybody that encounters me in life has something that they could teach me. So I've always had that student mindset. In the martial arts, you would say that I always have the white belt. I'm the white belt. I'm walking around trying to learn more.
Yeah. Well, you just said how I feel too, because I've always felt that way, that some guy, just homeless guy on the street, can teach you something. Teach you about being,
he can teach you how to live without money, right?
Well, but you have to be open
to find warm places to hang out in.
Yeah.
He could teach you stuff.
Yeah, you have to be open to the learning process, though. You have to be open to listen and take it in. I'm one of those guys that has to settle in my brain. A lot of times people say something, and then later on I go, you know what? That's what he was trying to tell me.
Oh, dude. My best time is every week for at least 2 or 3 sessions. I'll go to a sauna and just sit in that intolerable heat for 40, 45 minutes and just meditate over the stuff.
Yeah.
Not meditate as an no, I'm not doing that. But I'm ruminating. I'm going through all the stuff that I've encountered, and okay, how can I get better at this? So that's my meditation time when I'm sitting inside of a sauna. Yeah.
The longer I'm doing this, the longer I'm doing this, the more I find myself trying to sleep at night, and I get bits in my head, and I get up and write them down, and I try and go back to sleep.
Always got a pen by my side, man. Always have a pen by my side.
I just need a light back there. Well, look, we don't have a lot of time, and I want to make sure we cover everything. I know you have the Nubian Disciples coming up June 30th for Crave. That's a pretty big deal for you.
Well, this Nubian Disciples show has been running for
this is the 30th
going
one.
into its 30th year, right?
Right.
So now they've decided to do a documentary about it. I happen to be one of the individuals who was there from almost the beginning. So I get to be in on the documentary. So I'm really looking forward to that. That's coming up at the end of the month. Yeah.
Yeah, and I forgot to mention you've been on BET, Comedy Network, everywhere, Sirius.
Yeah.
Why, again, why wouldn't I call you comedy? Because you've been everywhere. You've done everything.
No, I haven't done everything. There's more to do.
Oh, yeah. Hey, the only thing you haven't done yet is your Comedy Minute.
True. But I'm here now.
Now, baby. Now you can work that one off. There it is. Check that one off.
I'm putting that on the resume.
Hey, like this little dog and pony act's gonna do anything for you.
Oh, did you hear? You haven't heard my dog snoring, have you?
No, but
He's
hey,
behind
listen.
me. I was just checking.
Can we do your dogs? Because you know what I'm talking about. The very end where you do your Comedy Minute. Do you have a separate thing set up for that?
No.
Well, then let's do the dog story as your Comedy Minute, okay?
What dog story?
Well, you just said you had a dog story.
No, I said my dog's snoring.
Oh, okay.
He's
Your
behind
dog
me.
is snoring.
Well, so I was worried that the mic would pick up her snoring.
You're the damn dog.
I couldn't pick up her snoring. That's good.
I'm more worried about you doing your Comedy Minute for me. Do you know what? I sent a thing for you where, like, I'll give you an example. I said to a young man, I've been doing this for a while now. Tell me your favorite Comedy Minute. And he sat there. Oh, this one time I ate a batch of mushrooms and I climbed up in my neighbor's tree. Okay? So any kind of story or a bit you do or anything that when you think about it, it's one of your favorite, if not your favorite Comedy Minute. Can you do something like that?
I could.
I'll beg you.
Okay.
All right, good.
All right.
Please, Mark.
This is one that gets me in trouble.
Your Comedy Minute. Mark Trinidad. Go ahead, buddy.
This one that gets me in trouble. Okay. So I'm a big fan of mushrooms. Now, mushrooms is a teacher. It's not the type of drug that you take just for, oh, I want to feel good. No. Mushrooms is a teacher, but sometimes mushrooms is a teacher with a wicked sense of humor as well, too. One night, here's a scenario. One night I was on mushrooms.
Oh, no.
And mushrooms told me, Mark, the NFL should start recruiting from school shootings.
Oh, God.
And I stepped back. I was like, pardon me, what? Now this is going on in my head. And I was like, no. What did you say? And then Mushroom said, no. Hang on a second. All I'm saying is if we review the tapes, there's going to be at least one kid running zigzag patterns, stiff arming other kids, high step. That's a potential running back. That's a recruit. That's all I'm saying, Mark. I'm not talking about the shooter, Mark. I'm not talking about the shooter. The shooter has committed a heinous crime, and the Patriots going to draft him first round.
Wow.
Horrible joke. I know. It's a horrible joke.
No, Mark.
Mushrooms that told me that. It wasn't me. That was mushrooms.
That may be the best Comedy Minute ever, for God's sakes. Oh, my God. I didn't know where you were going with that.
No children were hurt in the making of that joke. Just
no children were hurt. Yeah, it's good you did a disclaimer, Mark. Oh, God, you're so funny. Well, listen, we ran short a little bit of time because somebody had a problem with their microphone. I don't know who that was, but we'll...
No comment. I hate technology, man.
Hey, if you don't mind, I'd love to have you back in 6 months or so, have you come back and give us some more of your wisdom.
If I'm still alive, I'll be here for you, my brother.
Me too. Let's plan on it.
Yeah, man.
Okay? Yeah, I thank God for each day. I'm serious. And hey, I want to tell you, you are the crumbs of joy for today, man. You made me laugh. You made me laugh hard.
I'm laughing with you, brother.
I really did enjoy it. Hey, hang tight for a second. I'm going to stop the recording, but I want to talk to you for a minute or two off the air, okay?
Cheers.
Thank you so much, Mark. I really appreciate it.
Bye, everybody.